Rheta West is back, and it's always a pleasure. How are you, Rheta?
Good, and you? Thank you for having me.
Of course. Are you kidding? Anytime. So you did a contest last week. You did a very contest with a very deep lineup. It was the Savannah Pro, right?
Yes.
And from what it looked like for me, it was the best you ever looked. Am I accurate?
Oh, absolutely. Definitely.
Yeah, it was the best you ever looked, especially from the back. From the back, it looked to me like you had the best back and best rear in general in the show. That's just my opinion. But you didn't get the outcome that you wanted.
Well, it wasn't really that. It wasn't what I wanted. I just don't agree that it was that low.
Okay. So, why don't you explain?
Well, just that I felt that, because I know that it's hard. It's really, really hard to judge. And especially as you get closer to the top, there's a lot of just little things here and there, and it's a scoring overall,
Mm-hmm.
But and I'm well aware that I have some issues still with the front side. My abs have been like the bane of my existence since I started bodybuilding. But just given, in comparison to some of the people that placed above me, I just felt that I probably wasn't. I don't think that I should have been certainly wasn't saying I should have been first,
Right.
And I'm not even going to argue with the placing that I got, but I just felt that, my opinion, it should have been a little bit higher.
Yeah. So you came in 10th, and
Yeah.
how many girls were in the lineup?
Total, there was 18.
18. So you came in 10th.
Yep.
And
Second call out.
I saw it. I watched it, and I thought you should have placed a little higher just from your back shots alone.
Well, see, and that's where I try not to get caught up with that. I realize that, my backside's always been my strong spot.
Mm-hmm.
But one part isn't going to pull the weight for the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I realize that doesn't happen. It's an overall thing, so there might be some points taken away here and some points taken away there. But in the end, it's how does everything look together plays a really, really big part of it.
Right.
And so, I realize that my back is my strong point, but there has to be some, I have to give consideration to the fact that I turn around and I do some twisting stuff that helps me a lot. But when I'm like dead on center front, I'm still real blocky. I have a very wide waist still.
Well, it's it looks to me the girls that they're picking, because we just had another one, right? Was it Phoenix this weekend? We just had another contest this weekend, right?
The Rising Phoenix.
The Rising Phoenix, right? And it looks like the girls that are in the top 5 in all of these shows, from what I could tell, I'm not a judge, I'm not a professional, it's just it looks like they're looking like more toward a classic physique, if you will, because that's what it looks like to me. The big X frame, right? The taller girls, the wider girls, that's what it looks like they're choosing. If I'm right, if I'm accurate.
Well, actually, I thought that to be true of like the show that I did. And then the Rising Phoenix, actually, at least from the backside, I thought that, because the front side, I don't know, everybody kind of looks the same.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought that wider look wasn't exactly what they were picking before. That wider look is more of like the bodybuilder thing, the wide. And some of those backs, and some of them were just as dry as I was. The conditioning, was there, the same as mine, and which they were making a big deal about at my show. And the detail in the back was really awesome. And I'm not picturing off the top of my head about the hamstrings. The hamstrings, another thing that seems to be lacking in a lot of the top winning people. But yeah, I thought that the top that top 3 or 5 or whatever it was, that one picture that they put up, that Wings of Strength put up, I thought they looked awesome.
Oh, they did this week? You're talking about the Rising Phoenix?
Yeah.
They looked absolutely amazing. Looked absolutely amazing.
Oh, you were talking about my show? Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
That one I think was more of some sort of like physique looking athletic type look.
Yeah, that's what it looked like to me. But and even in the Chicago Pro, I had the privilege of interviewing Sheena Olive, and she has that more like wide clavicle, wide shoulder, the X frame. It doesn't look like, if I can make a comparison, you're more of like the Branch Warren kind of in your face, like gritty, hard muscle kind of look. And Sheena Oleg is more like a Cedric McMillan, if you will, right? Only in
Yeah.
a female version. I mean, it just looked like that's the way they were going, looks like
And that makes sense because that's who I look to. I look at the guys and I'm like, that's what I'm going for.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah, exactly. And I totally get it. Right. You play to your strengths. You play to your strengths, right?
Well, not only that, I mean, to me, like, and I haven't been in the bodybuilding world for very long, but what I've always seen of bodybuilding, that's what it was. It was like just being as big as you could possibly be and building and building on it and just getting bigger every year and getting all the fat off you. And that's what bodybuilding I thought was.
Yeah. Bodybuilding to me was always, Mr. Olympia was always the biggest, baddest motherfucker on stage. That's it. Like the biggest, hardest guy on stage. And I guess sometimes, it doesn't work out that way, I guess. But, well,
I've heard they've kind of swung back and forth about what they think that the look should be. They started going more classical physique, and then it was back to, getting big again, but then they didn't want the distended abs. So it's kind of hard to keep up with, to be honest, of like what they're actually looking for.
The criteria. Yeah, absolutely.
Which actually, and because I got the feedback from the judge.
Okay, what were they saying?
And actually, he, the first thing he said was he commended me on my conditioning. Everybody was very impressed with my conditioning. But said, that again with the waist is still really big, and suggested I do the wider back, bigger arms to match the wider back, and to get the detail out in my abs, which I knew that was something was going to happen with that, because to get my abs to go flat like I did, I had to, they just smoothed right out. And then I was just, and then you could see the six pack part when I did the ab thigh, but it didn't look right. So I knew that, I figured that would have something to do with it. But so he said to get the detail back. So I did kind of send a second email, and I did just kind of question, because I mean, I'm really new to bodybuilding anyway, and I have this idea of what bodybuilding is supposed to look like. And if it's not right, I wanted to know, what am I actually supposed to be looking at?
Sure.
And I had asked if the front kind of carried more weight, because sure, I get it's a full package, but my question is if you take this list of pros and cons for each person, it just seemed to me that some of the people above me had maybe more cons than I did, So like, I get it. My front's not good, or, let's just say it needs work.
Right.
But what about the ones whose backsides needed work, that didn't have the detail in their hamstrings, that weren't as lean, that, weren't as conditioned, or they didn't have the wide back, So kind of like, what was it that was the factor that placed me lower, given just I'm on the opposite side of the bed, what needs work.
No, you're right. You haven't right. Absolutely.
His response was actually to go look at the website. He said it was very, it's subjective, and it's a full package, and that it's listed on the rules of the NPC website. So that's where I kind of like, okay, but the judging still keeps changing,
right?
Even though the wording in the NPC website doesn't. So I'm trying to understand. Which that part I didn't say to him. I just, I politely thanked him, and I get it. Okay, there's no like black and white way to answer me, but it's hard to. I think that it's hard to kind of play to what you think. You can't. What are you going to do? You're going to have to chase down shows that have all the same judges.
Right.
Or what? How are you supposed to do that? So for me, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I'm going to continue to work on the bodybuilding frame that I imagine, that I believe it's supposed to be, based on whatever I've seen in the rules and all this kind of stuff, and what I've seen in my head. I'm not playing anything down. You know what I mean? I'm not knocking anything down a notch. So if I can't figure it out, then I'm just going to keep coming back bigger.
What did you have a really good coach? What was your coach's opinion?
My coach is Mike Francois, and he, he's a really honest person, as far as like, he doesn't sugarcoat anything. And he placed me, what he kind of laid out for me in his opinion. He was like, in my opinion, your backside, you were first place. Your your abs, you were 10th, your, you know, your whatever. He laid it all out and placed me, in his opinion, 6th place, give or take a spot.
Right.
And I mean, you know, that sounds probably more reasonable.
Sure.
I really couldn't have told you. I think I should have been 3rd or 4th, you know, because like I said, it gets hard to, that's why, you know, I'm new to this and I'm trying to understand, you know, so it's hard to tell. I just know I have an amazing back. That's all I'm,
Yeah,
and I know
right,
it's really,
right, right.
really lean.
Yeah, you looked absolutely amazing. You had put up some pictures on Facebook a few days before and on Instagram, and it was outstanding. I mean, absolutely outstanding. The muscle insertions and the detail, and even the you had that grainy look like a Branch Warren or a Dorian Yates has. You know, to me that was always the most impressive. You know, I was, you know. My favorite bodybuilder growing up was Sean Ray because I could relate to him because he was shorter, because I'm only about 5'7.5", give or take.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not very tall. I'm 5'8" on a good day, you know. But I can't lie. When I used to see Dorian Yates and I used to see guys like Marcus Rule and then later on Branch Warren, it was so impressive.
Yeah.
It was just so impressive that you know, but I knew that wasn't, if I, you know, when you're young, you think you want to be a bodybuilder, right? And I knew that that couldn't be the look I could go for. You know, I would you always be like, well, the Sean Ray, you know, kind of look would be what I would want to look like, you know, because it would be more, I could relate to it more, you know. Obviously, nothing like that panned out, but but yeah, I mean, you looked absolutely incredible. So, what are the plans for the future now for Rheta West?
So I have decided, because, you know, I mean, at first I was annoyed, and I had originally said to myself, I'm 47 years old. Okay. And I've done a lot with my powerlifting, and I wanted to try the bodybuilding and kind of see what I could do. But, and I'm not sitting here saying, oh, I'm old, blah, 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 whatever. But it is a fact that I am somewhere in the age range of where, you know, the top women doing the things that the top women are doing are this age, you know, so
Right,
I don't
yes.
have that much time left in this level of competing. Okay. And I kind of just wanted to just like throw it all out there and just see what happens, you know, and if I didn't get, I was kind of hoping to get somewhere in top 5. And if I didn't get in top 5, I was like, well, you know, maybe it's time to just stop competing. You know, I don't want to stop the lifestyle, but really where I enjoy being is in the growing stage anyway. I really, truly hate prep. And
I don't blame you. I don't blame
you. And so I had, so that's originally I was saying if I didn't hit top 5, that was it, you know. And then I was annoyed anyway. But after thinking about it, you know, and it was kind of like, oh, I spend all this money for something that, you know, and it's hard to judge and it's hard to know what's going on and blah, 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 blah. But then after thinking about it, I'm like, okay, you know, I spent a lot of money in powerlifting too I mean, you know, maybe, yeah, I set all-time world records and stuff, but I mean, not always, you know, and it just came to be kind of like so what else do you want to spend your money on? You know, and
yeah.
And, you know, of course, there was a lot of people that reached out to me, a lot of support, you know, a lot of people. It was very heartwarming to hear the level of support and following that I have. And not to say that I need to stay with it, you know, for anything like that. But it was just all of these things together that kind of made me think to myself, you know, really, what better? I have nothing else better to do anyway. So, regardless of how this happened, I was going to go into a growing stage anyway. And so I've decided, well, first of all, announcement, this is the first time I've told anybody except for like one person in the gym.
Oh, great.
I'm already signed up to do a meet in December.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yes. So, not that I'm going to do anything crazy. I haven't, you know, really trained with the heavy weights. Every once in a while I'd throw some weights on and I could still do some heavy stuff. And so I figured, you know, you know, I probably could squat something still.
Yeah,
I
I think
can't go
so.
crazy because I've been working. It's taken me the last 2 years to trim what little bit off my waist I could. I'm not putting it back on.
Right, right.
But it'll be heavy lifting anyway. And so it kind of fits into the plan. My ultimate goal really, and this is the thing why I wasn't sure of how long I wanted to keep competing, because I have other goals. It's not like I want to stop and go get fat sitting on the couch watching TV, you know.
Right.
One of my own personal goals before I can't do that stuff anymore is that I want to weigh 200 pounds at 15% body fat.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been chipping away at that, you know, and like this last off season, I got around 185 at 15%.
Wow.
And so right now, that's my plan. My first plan is I'm going into growing season, and my intention is to get bigger.
Okay.
And my focus is going to be on the areas that I need improvement.
Sure.
Overall, but the focus will be on the areas that I need improvement. I'm going to do this powerlifting meet, just throw it out there and see what happens, have fun.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of picking a show and I've decided that I'm not leaving bodybuilding. You know, they're kind of stuck with me, I think, is how I'm looking at it. Yeah.
Okay.
Good or bad. I like what I do. I like how I came in this time. I was very proud. I mean, you know, I do not like having to be, you know, that depleted, but that part of it is more of like the personal suffering that I had to go through, that I achieved that without quitting or giving up on, did what I had to do to get back up on the stage. And now I'm filling back up again already, you know, and now I get back to getting big. And so I kind of just want to keep coming back. You know, I know what I want to look, you know, I like what I look like. I like keep building on that. I like improving the things what they tell me I need to get improved. And if I never place first, I will keep coming back with the improvements they wanted me to make, and they can just go explain to everybody why for some reason I never place any better. but I just want to be monstrous. I want to be monstrous, and so I'm sticking with the bodybuilding. And
so you don't think you have already broken into the phase of monstrous already?
Oh, well, maybe. But I mean, I want to be like blinding. I want to like walk around and people are like, oh my God.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, you have to be one of the, especially in the off season, you have to be one of the biggest girls.
Yeah, I am. I do recognize that.
But how tall are you?
5'2".
Yeah. At 185 pounds at 15% body fat of 5'2", the girls that are a lot bigger are a lot taller. You know, the Irene, I forgot her name, who was the other one? Alicia
Young.
Alicia Young. I mean, they're actually very tall. So, I mean, but I admire your discipline. I admire your attitude, because it's inspiring. It truly is, because very, very few people just become the best in the world like that, right? Not everybody's Phil Heath, right? So you know, that doesn't happen. Most people, it's a grind, and it's a grind, and it's a grind. And your dedication and your attitude toward the sport is what you need to become a champion. And I think today's generation, you know, doesn't really understand that. I think today's generation wants instant gratification, and
they do.
And if they don't get it, I can't deal with this. Do you know what I mean? And I think it's inspiring, it's motivating, and it's you probably looked up to a lot. You're pretty much a pillar in your community. So in your gym, you're probably inspiring a lot of men and women. I would have to guess. I've never been to your gym, but everybody I speak to, Michelle Dugan, James Reed, Bob Merck, Jeannie Nutter, they all praise you like you're amazing, you know. And even when you got back from your contest, somebody pulled all the weeds in front of your gym, right?
Someone what?
Somebody pulled all the weeds in front of your gym. Yeah. Did you ever find out who that was?
Yeah. No, not
really. So that just goes to show how loved you are, you know. And it shows through your character, and it shows you even had a drive for the kids with the school supplies, you know?
Yeah. And
know?
I do appreciate that people look up to me. And sometimes you're right, you know, so it's okay. So when I say it like that, sometimes I need to remind myself of that, you know, but when I say it like that, I just mean because these are just things that I do. I do what I do because I believe it's right. It's because it makes me feel good, because I just think that's the way it's supposed to be, you know, and I don't stop to think that there's anything different about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And further, I expect it from other people. And if not right away, then as you see the example, you understand that that's how it's supposed to work, and you do it as well.
Right.
As far as like, you know, hard work and, you know, ethics and things like that. Because we're all different, you know, everybody has a different personality. That's fine. But so I do get down on myself sometimes. But here's the thing, right? You know, those things are just the way that I am, you know. So when I look to be improved from that, it doesn't matter whether I'm at a 2 or a 10, you know what I mean? I still want to improve. And even though it may appear to everybody else I'm already a 10, to me, it doesn't even have a number, you know what I mean? I just want to keep improving.
Right.
And so that's kind of what the big thing is, you know. I'm like, yeah, I'm okay, fine, I'm a monster, but I want to be a bigger monster.
I have 2 more questions for you, and then I'll let you go. The first question is, I was actually curious and about what you had put up a post on, I think both Instagram and Facebook, and you were having intravenous during that time. It was the day after your show.
Yes.
You have an IV. Can you explain why you needed that?
Well, I was dried out, you know. I mean, we manipulate the water and you know, sorry everybody, I use diuretics. And nobody's taking my diuretics.
Yeah.
But it's not crazy. You know, my coach is extremely I have to fight with him with the conservative. He's very, you know, he's very watchful of how we do things.
That's good.
But even without that, you know, you do the water manipulation thing. You're just trying to get all that water out from under the skin, all that subcutaneous water out, and, you know, get that little dry look to you, you know. And it takes, well, we start water loading for a period of time, but even during that water loading, I'm drinking so much water, I'm just peeing it right out. I'm practically dehydrating as I'm drinking gallons of water. And so it's just for such a long period of time. And then right there at that end, those 2 days are just pretty, you know, it's pretty brutal as far as not a lot of water, and you're really, really straight. I mean, that's the posing and stuff is really strenuous. And so I don't need the IV. I could probably, but it would take me longer to recover, because you want to get, you know, you want to get the muscle or the water, the fluids, not only back into your body and subcutaneously, but also into your muscle bellies. And that just takes time. If I'm drinking it, you know, especially if you're drinking it, then you got to wait for it to go through the stomach and go into the system. And if you just do the IVs, it goes straight into the veins, you know, and it works a lot faster.
So it was more basically water, or it was electrolytes?
Oh yeah, it was just water, just lactate.
Okay. That's okay. All right. That's really cool. The other question I have is the powerlifting question. You had world records for a very long time. And
yes.
One of your more prestigious world records was broken recently.
Yeah.
So
that was my longest standing one.
Yeah. How did that, when you heard what happened, how did you feel about that?
Oh, well, you know, of course I'm a little sad. It's like, oh, but she's a great lifter. And
who
I
was
figured, I mean, it was Heidi Hauer.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, she took my equipped 148 equipped swap, and she might have taken the total too with it. I don't remember, but but I mean, it was going to happen eventually, you know. And I held those records for a very long time.
Yeah, I know.
And that's something to be proud of alone, you know. And it's cool to have been in the sport when women were just coming up, or, you know, to be just ahead of it, you know, at that time when, you know, to kind of have been part of what speared it on, and to see some of these women coming up around me now, so strong these women are. It's awesome.
Yes.
And so to witness it and you know, it kind of softens the blow anyway. It's like, good for you, you know,
Right.
like, you know, get up here with me. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, and
How much
it
did
really
she
doesn't matter.
how much did she break your record by?
I want to say 5 pounds.
Okay, okay. Clearly you're not the only one in the bodybuilding community. And I apologize, in the powerlifting community. CT Fletcher had his American strict curl record broken after 30 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was Leroy Walker who did it in June.
Oh, I heard about Leroy. I didn't realize it was, oh, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, and then like a couple of, maybe about 3 weeks ago, he broke the world record strict curl. So, you know, like you said, there's something to be said about that. But after 30 years, I can only imagine he's probably torn. CT's probably a little torn too. Like, man, that was my record, and now it's gone. But at the same time, he's probably very happy that somebody else did it. You know?
I was gonna say, at the same time, he's probably like, it's about damn time.
Yeah, really. Yeah, you're right.
What the hell took these people so long?
Yeah, you're right about that. You're right. Well, listen, Rita, I'm gonna let you go. It's always a pleasure. And here, Serious and Silliness, we have our own ranking system here. So there's only 3 of us. There's me and 2 people that help me edit this stuff. But we have our own ranking system, and how it works is, if you are the first of whatever genre that comes on, if you are the first, so you are the first powerlifter, and you are the first female bodybuilder that gave me a chance to interview, then you are number 1 in the world, no matter what. Well, that's how it works. So you're the number 1 female bodybuilder, okay? Michelle Dugan is the number 1 women arm wrestler, although she actually might be. All right, Paul Lynn is the number 1 male arm wrestler, and Samson Dowd is the number 1 bodybuilder in the world.
Nice.
And that's how it goes. And that's how all ranking system. So
I like it.
Yeah. So as far as I'm concerned, you are the best in the world, and your character is the best in the world, and I can't stress that enough. You're a tremendous person.
Thank you very much, John.
And thank you. And I'm going to let you go and enjoy the rest of your night.
All right. You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.